So I take the lock out, throw it on the ground, walk inside the double gates and go in there, and there's a bunch of inmates. And from what I know, after that is they're all lifers, by the way, all praising the Lord, all just weeping and getting it, bro. And the music was amazing, and the singers were amazing. And I'm like, fell to my knees, dude, and I started crying.
Welcome to another episode of the Powerless to Powerful Recovery podcast. My name's Jason. I'm an alcoholic. As always, our mission is to share experience, strength, and hope across multiple media platforms, the story of addiction and the road to recovery. We're not affiliated with Alcoholics Anonymous or any other 12-step based organizations or groups, but we're back. My co-host is here, Ronnie, no matter what. What's up, Ron?
Here we go.
Oh, my goodness. You know, I say it all the time. We got this guest and so special to me, and I've known him for a long time. I'm pretty excited about this one. I'm really excited. There's not often that we run into too many people who saw me sucked up like a Safeway chicken. Well, saw me healthy to sucked up to recovery to today. There's not many. And today we have a special, and I mean special guest. Maui's in the house. And you might say to yourself, Maui, what the hell? Yes, he's from Hawaii. His name is Rodney Pieres. He is the lead singer guitarist of Deep as Bones, brother. New album drops tomorrow. Victory over the Voices. Wouldn't that be nice? The album drops tomorrow. Not only that, you want to talk about, we talk about some real shit on our podcast. Shout out to his podcast, the Rando Commando podcast with a name like that. Are you kidding me? It's going down, dude. New episodes dropping all the time. He's got the podcast. Not only that, my brother, he's got his own ministry, dude, Identa-Free. Dude, they're on 27th Avenue, 15th Avenue, on the tracks, on the whole stroll, getting shot at, dude, bringing God, mobile God, bro, to people. Mobile God to people, dude.
Let's go.
Not only that, dude, he's a owner, founder of his electrical company, right, of RP Energy. And not only that, what's the best description of a phenomenal leader? Turning out more leaders. Shout out Adam, G, shout out Josh, shout out all these men. There's several more that came up, learned the industry, and now have their own electrical companies, dude. And that's all from my guy, dude. And that's the one, Rodney Pieres, dude. That's the Maui, dude. And I'll tell you something, brother. When the first meeting that I went, I felt like Hulk Hogan there for a second, dude. I almost went into Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair all at one time, dude. Because this is a special moment, dude. So welcome to the show, brother.
Well, thanks for having me, brother.
I mean,
when you said Josh's name, I kind of wanted to say Schnitzengruben. Yeah. That's what I call him, dude.
Today's his birthday, dude.
I know. I have to text him. Sorry, Josh. I haven't texted you yet, but we'll get to him today.
Shout out to him. But I just want, because, there were so many different facets to, because that's what recovery is about. And I want to stress more and more and more talking about the fact is that if you continue to do the right thing and work a program of recovery, it is also progressive.
Correct.
Your life gets progressively better and better and better. And so can you just take just the first minute just to talk about the ministry, dude, because that's God. It's everything centered through God. Without God, we wouldn't be here today.
Correct.
Right? The podcast, right? The new album, bro. Because I can remember, I want to let you do it, but I can remember being on a prison yard with you being the lead singer of a band while being an inmate just like me, and we had a mosh pit, and you were wearing the warden's hat.
Yep. Well, it was a guard's hat. Yeah, but close enough, right?
Close enough.
That never happens.
With
the hair wasn't tied back either. It was down, remember?
Yeah.
I'd like to talk a little bit about that. One thing I'd like to say real quick is none of this is possible without recovery, right? We know that. But I think even in recovery, we feel like we can't do things or we have fear. And I've never let that stop me. No matter what people think, no matter what they say, or, he's in a band, blah, blah, he's probably not. You just got to keep moving and not listen to all the haters. So, Identa-Free is really a brainchild of my wife. And
shout out to Carrie, dude.
Carrie Bradley.
Shout out to her.
A lot of people know my wife, Carrie. Probably a lot of people that watch your podcast because she's big in the recovery. She has 17 years. She's coming up on 17 years. And she is, she wants to help people. Her heart's right. So when we do this, it's just it's her brainchild, but I'm just there to help. What can I do? How do you want me to help you? What needs need to be met? And I just kind of fill in, but it's really her thing, man. And I love it because it forces me to get out of my I'm uncomfortable going out on 27th Avenue. Sometimes I'm uncomfortable. But when you go out on 27th Avenue and you see prostitutes and you hear the stories, so if we're driving the bus or we're driving a car and we bring them in to clothe them and help them out and give them resources, the stories I heard on that bus were the most heartbreaking stories I've ever heard in my life. Women that have been doing this for years and years, beaten, raped, all the most horrible things that you can have happen to a woman. I've heard the stories, and multiple times have I started crying in that driver's seat as the compassion has filled my heart, which I didn't have before when I was an addict. I was a heroin addict. We don't have compassion. We don't have anything. We don't feel anything.
Nothing.
So to do that kind of forces me out of comfortability and into uncomfortability.
So how does this work? So like at different nights, different times, you just go right to the hot spots where
Thursday.
Narcan, they need Narcan, they need clothing, they need to be rescued, they need safe shelter. I mean, and it's every Thursday. Do you drop a location if people want to go and they want to find out, or do you want to be discreet? It kind of, because the haters and the devil is real, dude, and they'll try to destroy things like that, dude.
So we used to do it like that. We've changed our ways because of the safety concerns. So one of the things that I've noticed in ministry is that people come in and they want to take it. People come in and they hate. They want. It's weird. Yeah. It's almost more. I see the enemy more in ministry than I do outside of ministry. It's like they come in, they want to take it, they want to cause division, and that's what the enemy does. Is he comes in and he causes division. So what we do is we have people go through deliverance with David Pappas. Shout out to David. He is awesome. If you guys want a good follow, it's House of Prayer Phoenix. It's awesome. House of Prophets. I'm sorry, David. House of Prophets. And we go through deliverance, or you have to work the steps. Either one or both. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you can't have people that are unhealthy be in a situation where the enemy is going to attack them. Because we're not supposed to be out there. He doesn't want us out there. I've seen it happen. People come out literally and start manifesting on the bus or out. They start bawling and crying. They relapse. We've seen that too, because it's so powerful what we're doing, and we're around people that are using. I've had crack smoke blow in my face. I've thrown rigs out of the bus. I've had
shot at
on 15th and Bell. We were rescuing an 18-year-old girl from a 30-year-old trafficker, African American, and he had a big gun in his waistband. And I told my wife, "Hey, this guy's he's a red flag. You know, we got to watch this guy." And we helped the girl, and she leaves the bus, comes back in, says, "I need to go now." And I took off, and I could see it out of the rearview mirror. They got those big ones on the bus, and I saw that gun flash, and it did not hit the bus. And we get home, and we look at it, and the back top of the window, which was double pane glass, we didn't know, was hit right there, but nobody was hurt. And it was amazing. You know what I mean? We knew God was there. And the cop came, we had to file a report, and he came, he's like, "I don't know how you guys didn't get hit." And we do.
Yeah, we do.
So what a time to minister to the cop, you know what I mean? Right then and there. You know, that's what we like to do. So we like to have people that have worked the steps, have been in recovery, or solid in the recovery, because it's very hard to come out there early recovery, because they're leaving addiction and coming right back into
the front lines.
Yeah, to the front lines. And we just get, what we do is we have purses made, and the girls that are dressed, you know, scantily clad, as I might say, you know, you walk up to them and they don't want to talk to you.
Right.
They're scared of everybody. They got a pimp nearby. So we roll up and we hand them a purse. We give them this purse, and it's a nice purse, usually like something real nice. Yeah. And it's filled with, you know, female hygiene. We'll just say that. Yeah. And then there's a card in there with a QR code on it. It doesn't say anything. Yeah. And my wife says, if you need help, there's a card in the bag, scan it. Yeah. So that's how the girls know how to get a hold of us. It's building relationships.
Awesome. Wow, dude.
It's building relationships, so really, because you have to build trust. It might take 6 months for a girl to get off the streets, because they see you so much and they see the love of Jesus.
That you're really about, and not just someone else.
Yeah, that we're just loving on them, bro. We're not out there to, hey, you need to get off the street or you're going to hell. We're not doing that. We don't debate the Bible with them. No, we don't do any of that. We just love on them. That's it. Dude. Yeah.
All right, dude. So now, dude, there's so much, bro.
That's cool.
Okay. Deep as Bones, dude. This is your brainchild. I watched you in prison write music. I watched you. We were fortunate enough to spend some time, which we're going to get into. And I watched you write music. I watched you build bands, lead bands. I watched you teach others how to play the guitar, how to read music. Yeah. I watched you give up your time freely to anything music related and share worship with others. And so Deep as Bones is the name of your band. You created it. Christian
rock metal
band, dude.
Exclusively.
Yes, dude. And Matt, my producer, is gonna drop it all. The new album drops tomorrow, dude. Correct. Just talk about that for a second. How cool is that, dude?
Yeah, it's really cool, but in a way, it's a lot of hard work, more than I anticipated. Yeah. So it's a huge time suck on you. You know what I mean? So I have all these compartmentalized parts of my life that I have to balance, you know, marriage and ministry and my job and all this stuff. But that's what I want to do immediately when I'm done with all the things I have to do. So the band actually started with John Fabricius, Walt Willis, and I. I think Troy, that guy Troy was in there, but he wasn't a very good drummer. But what a great guy. He was there for it. So we're trying to decide on names. We wrote all these songs in 2017, 2018. And we're like, well, when we get out, we should record because everybody's getting out. Fab was getting out. Walt was getting out. So I kind of pushed them all to do that. Like Fab was
immediately.
Like immediately. As soon as Fab got out, he was finding studios. And we ended up connecting with Jay Kearney from Linkin Park. So he recorded Hybrid Theory and Meteora. So Jay Kearney, shout out Jay. He's in recovery as well. Yeah. We found him and we recorded at a studio for a while and his computer blew up. We blew up his computer.
You record too much.
We recorded too loud or too hard or too heavy. And we ended up moving to another studio and finishing the record. And shout out to John Fabricius. He really put in the work. I wrote the music with John and with Walt on that album. That was our first album. It's just self-titled Deepest Bones. And we recorded it and they put in the work and it came out amazing. And we ended up meeting a guy through my drummer, Dan Johnson, who played with Head from Korn when he left Korn. So he's still my friend today. Shout out to Dan Johnson. And then he was with the band Red, the Christian band Red.
Yeah.
So he came with us and made the album sound great. And over the years, me and him become great friends. He was on this album too. But really, to summarize it all up, I was tired of listening to rock music that I loved once I became a Christian because of the lyrics. I don't want to speak death. I want to speak life. And I really wanted to worship even more. So that's what this record's about, the new one. But we wanted to do that. And I just didn't find anything cool out there. And I could only listen to Red and Skillet and all them so much. And it really wasn't as heavy as I wanted it to be.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, I know.
So that's how we started. You know, we played a bunch of shows and yeah, of course.
You like it turned up loud, my brother.
I do.
I know you do, dude.
Yeah.
I know you like it turned up loud. Now, I also want to talk about, because I'm a fan, dude, the Rando Commando podcast, dude. Because there's not many people who will just get out there and just say it like they want to say it and say it how they feel. And just how you started this whole thing off by saying, you know, haters are going to hate and I'm just going to keep on following God, dude.
That's right.
And no matter how you do it and whatever avenues you take, all three of our hearts are in the right place and our lives are a reflection of that, dude.
Correct.
So talk about the podcast, dude. What's up with that? I want to come on there, dude, and talk some crazy shit with you sometime.
We'll book you on there. We got you, bro.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I'd always tell my wife about conspiracies. Like, not that I was convinced totally, but I'd like to discuss them with people. And I would discuss them with her and she'd get frustrated with me because it'd be so many. You're talking about this and that and the other thing. And she goes, you're like Rando Commando. That's what she nicknamed me, Rando Commando, because I change topics and I'm like all over the place sometimes. And she goes, you need to have a podcast where you just talk about these things that you're talking to me about and bring people on. So I took my recording room and split it in half and turned it into a podcast studio. And that's how it started. I didn't exactly know what I was going to talk about. So I bullet pointed everything I'd see out there. And things that I'm passionate about and I believe in, I'll talk about them. And, you know, people will be like, oh, you believe the Earth's flat? Kind of. You know, oh, you believe that Erica Kirk killed Charlie? Maybe. Yeah. It's not. I'm not 100% because I'm not there and I don't know the facts. But I want to start like some conversation about it, man.
Well, dude, I mean, if you take a second to look at those Epstein files, dude, then what you realize is that every single thing in our life is orchestrated and a lie, dude, and a setup for the rich to keep getting richer, dude, and be pedophiles, bro.
It's always been like that.
It is. That dude, Alex Jones, dude, someone should apologize to that man. Seriously,
Hey, sure.
Someone needs to apologize to that dude.
I agree.
At least for some things.
Yeah.
Hey,
you know?
Since you went there.
I did.
Since you went there.
We got Rando Commando
Yeah,
on,
I'm gonna
dude.
go there,
Since
bro.
you went there.
Go there, bro.
Since you went there, it warmed my heart to hear Whoopi Goldberg say, I'm in the files. And then her try to spin it just warmed my heart.
Yeah, they're all in it. So they're all in it. So here's the thing, right? So the one thing that really is shocking everybody now is that everybody's becoming awake right now to what's going on.
Sure.
So that's the first part, right? So everybody needs to come awake. He's slowly releasing things, and I believe there was a documentary that came out. It's called Capitulation, and it was this guy from Good Lion Films, a Christian, that put it together about Trump, his first term, and what he did. So if you haven't watched Capitulation, it's on Rumble. You can watch it for free. Watch it, and I think your mind's going to change about him. It changed my mind. So that conspiracy alone is not a conspiracy. Derek Johnson, who's on all the platforms, wrote a book about it. It's called something of Pale Horse, not the original conspiracy book Pale Horse, but if you look up Derek Johnson, he talks about how Trump was in control when Biden was in office. And I thought that was fascinating because he brought the actual executive orders that were signed by Biden and the rubber mask to light, right? So everybody knows that. Well, you can find those videos of his neck coming out. Like, he doesn't even look the same. Yeah. Same thing with the Ghislaine Maxwell stuff that just came out. They don't look the same. No. So it's all a show. I think there's something running continuity of government underneath everything that's really going on. They call it the white hats. And then I think there's this show going on for all of us. When the people that are wise enough and smart enough to think outside the box are going to find what they're looking for. Yeah, and that's why I have a podcast.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So check it out. Rando Commando podcast. You got to check it out. He talks about all the things we're thinking.
Yep.
or if you're aware.
To think.
Yeah. Or if you're aware, dude. And it's if you haven't opened your mind to what's really happening, let's just say this, dude. That dude won the fucking lottery, dude.
Yeah.
Twice,
yeah,
bro.
You don't, yeah, it's just a payment system.
The Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. I'm not going to get off on a tangent, dude.
It's a payment system.
But exactly. You know, and so your podcast gives you the platform to be able to talk about it, dude.
And one thing I want to say is I've had 5 TikTok channels because of it. I've had to build, I had one up to 33,000 and I'm done. So I had to build.
They keep censoring you.
They keep censoring me. YouTube hasn't censored me yet, but I think that they're on a different playing field right now because Trump's in.
Yeah.
But TikTok, definitely, I've had 5 channels.
Yeah, dude.
So I've lost, I think it was like 80,000 people that I've lost. Yeah, over the 4 channels previously.
Yeah.
So anyway, crazy.
So when I talk about this being a cool moment, man, you know, I always like to talk about how we know each other, dude.
Yeah.
So I've known you since 2016-ish, you know, and I met, when I first met Maui, you know, I was sober-ish. I was California sober.
Yeah.
I had size on me. I was working out every day. I wasn't strung out. I wasn't doing hardcore drugs. I was looking pretty good, feeling pretty good about myself.
You were looking great.
And I'll let him share his perspective of it. But in a very quick period of time, I went from being the dope man to being the biggest train wreck you've ever seen on the yard. Went from having it all to having nothing, to spending hundreds of dollars and asking for bread every night, to borrowing money from him. Half the time he would give it to me. He would make me suckers just so I would eat something because he knew that I would only eat sugar and at least. And every single time I went there, dude, he put a little nugget about recovery in there, dude. Because at that time at North Unit, there was only maybe 6 to 7 men that were in those meetings. And when it all shut down and we all had a plan to spread us all across the state to start meetings everywhere and bring that level of recovery, we had 50, 60 men in those rooms, dude.
We did.
And when I got to my first meeting, dude, you were one of the first people that was in that meeting, dude.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that, dude. And you never judged me. You always encouraged me. You were my biggest fan and supporter when I found recovery. You told me to keep going, dude. And you've done that the whole entire time, dude. And I will never forget that, bro.
It's amazing.
Because you were one of those people, dude, that I look to as visual proof that, dude, that's what I want to have. I want to have happiness. I want to be a father like that, where even being incarcerated as 2 daughters, I'd see you with your daughters in visitation, to have passions and to have hobbies and to do them and find peace in prison. When, dude, I was, you know, smoking snipes off the ground that have been pissed on, dude. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
Dude. And then I found recovery, dude. And so you're one of those people that got to see the before, the after, the before, the after, right?
The during.
Like you got to see the during. You got to see it all, man. And it's just a cool to have this moment with you. But what do you remember, dude, from that time period?
Well, first of all, let me say that I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you. When I started here, I'm gonna get there, but I just want to say, you guys, when I left, he was starting to find recovery. He come in and out of the meetings, but after he left, I get reports from everybody that he was doing really well. And he was actually a pivotal person on that yard for getting other men sober. So thank Jesus, right?
Yeah.
I remember you, Jason. You were just always really cool. Like, I really liked hanging out with him. I talked to him. I always had a great conversation. Not everybody's like that on a prison yard. We all know that. Yeah. But I was making suckers and Jason would buy them from me, dude. And I'd see him and I'd know what he was up to because, you know, the movement on the yard, what do you call it? Bouncing around from hut to hut, building to building, tents to buildings. You kind of know what's going on, but I've been there. So I didn't have compassion. We were talking earlier. I didn't have compassion when I was a drug addict, but AA, recovery, and Christ gave me compassion. So I'd see guys like you, and I'd feel something, you know what I mean? Which was new to me, but I'd be like, the program says we should help people. I don't want to judge someone that's just like me. Why not talk to this guy every chance I get, but not in a way where it's going to off-put them towards recovery, you know? And that's what love does, and that's what Christ does in you, is he does that. And that's not something that I normally possess, right? So it's got to be the Christ in me. So every time I would see you, bro, I would just be like, that guy, he needs help. He needs Jesus, you know? And Josh and I, you know, Schnitzel and I would talk about you a lot, man, and say that, you know, this, and I would see you, bro, and go, that guy's got such great potential. You were such a hustler, bro. I mean, I've seen hustlers in my sentences, you know what I mean? But he was a hustler, and I always imagine people that have a lot of hustle like that would be great sober. They'll hustle sober for the right reasons. And that's exactly what I knew this would happen. Like, I knew once you got sober that all this stuff would happen, because that's your true self, you know? And yeah, he was in bad shape, man. I seen him go from probably, I don't know, probably 180 pounds maybe to like 130 pounds in a very short amount of time. And I know what happens when that happens on a prison yard. You know, people get in trouble, fights get, you know, people get beat up. And I didn't want to see that happen to you. And I'm glad you found the group, man. And those guys, man, there was a little trailer. Do you remember the little trailer we started
100%
in?
I do, yeah.
So that little trailer, man, sparked something on that yard. Like I imagine Bill and Bob felt in the beginning.
Yes, dude.
There was that spark there, right, that they talk about in the big book. And I think that everybody... We were all so close after that small trailer that by the time we got to the bigger room, which I asked the warden for,
you started
I got
every meeting
education.
on that yard for us.
I was tired of not having community because I had been in community before. I'd been sober on the streets before I relapsed and went to prison. But I said, we need this here. And God just inspired me to go. I talked to the warden, dude. I was like, hey, man, we need more meetings here. And I need a bigger building because we were filling the trailer. And he gave us that. And I believe that warden, I don't even remember his name or nothing, was like helpful in the spark that happened on that yard. And I've never experienced anything like that before, where it grew exponentially. The trailer was full, and then the big room was full. There was no place to sit. There was people standing at an AA meeting in prison, and God working his magic on that yard. That was the exact time of
God was
such
there.
a time as this. In the book of Esther is what I think of. Such a time as this, that happened. And now I consider us all probably lifelong friends, because I'm still friends with all those people. I see Brian. I haven't seen him. He's in Florida. But if I were to talk to him today, we go right into the old shtick. Last time I saw Brian, we played craps during COVID with glass in Laughlin.
With Josh too, right?
Yeah, dude, it was so fun. And Brian and I, we shared a room. We were up until like 3 a.m. laughing our asses off over dumb stuff. And that's what I look at. Like, do you remember when you got sober in prison and you had the first belly laugh? Do you remember that? That's what I remember about getting sober when I first got sober. And that's what I experienced there. All of us, dude, were just laughing and laughing and laughing. And I think that was the reason that yard was so successful, because everybody was actually working the program. And then you saw us all doing it, and then you took it to another level and went across the street with Mrs. Franz, and we'd hear all about it, man. So, like, give yourself some credit. You took it and ran, and that's what AA is supposed to do, man. That's what we're supposed to do. And I think a lot of times it gets watered down out here. People don't have the same community out here as we did in there. And there's times where I miss that, bro.
I know.
You know what I mean? And we should probably, as a group, I'm looking right at the camera, and you know who you are, we should all be getting together more often.
Yeah, we need to. We really do.
I agree. And it's like, we can do it. We just have to do it, you know?
There was Maui, Brian, which we know, I mean, there was this Josh, Adam, Jack, and Matt Leathers,
Jack, dude.
And there was those 5 men when I walked, and my sponsor, Matt Langford.
Was it Matt Langford?
That was my sponsor, yeah.
That was my sponsee.
Yeah, that was your sponsee. Yeah,
I love Matty.
He just officiated my wedding, dude.
Did he really?
Yeah, officiated my wedding. Adam was in it. Josh
That's another
was in
guy,
it.
dude. I haven't seen him, but if I seen him, we're
just
best
like
friends.
that.
Yeah,
you know, and God was on that yard, dude.
For sure.
The results have never been done before at that level, that magnitude, that long-term success. It happened, bro.
Right.
Like it did, dude. How many guys were at meetings on any of the yards you were ever on? I mean, Ron started, he became you got 12 years now? Coming up on 12 years.
Yep.
And so when we got out within 2 weeks of each other. He started recovery right away. So he started the recovery, the meetings, the book, from Jump Street. And so he pursued that his whole entire time, dude, you know? And so we got out within 2 weeks of each other.
That's awesome.
And met at a meeting to feel each other out.
Awesome, man.
You were the recovery guy. I'm the recovery guy. Really?
Yeah.
We're quoting the big book. Oh, he caught it.
Shit.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you. But my wife, obviously, I'd be like, "Hey, Ron's out. We're gonna go meet up." Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know. So I had him come speak at the Salvation Army. It was my first service commitment. Jay Dow hooked me up with.
Yeah, I did that for a while too.
Yeah, I was out like a week, and I had Ron come speak. And when I heard him speak, I was like, okay. He really does this shit. I heard it. I heard every bit of the program. I called my girl. Was like, babe, I don't care. We got to meet up. And and then we've joined forces now to help as many damn people as we possibly can, dude.
And you are, dude. And this I've been watching it. This is a high quality, nice podcast, bro.
Well, thank you.
And,
shout out to Matt, dude.
And Matt over there, you guys can't see him, but we can. And he's doing a great job. I watch it whenever a new episode drops. I listen. Well, I'll be honest. I listen to it in the car as I'm driving because I don't want to watch the screen, but it's on. You know,
man. Well, we appreciate it.
And we love it, dude. And I saw Maddie on here. Maddie looked great. Like all those guys. It's so unbelievable how many of the people, the success rate of all the people that we hung out with, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
Dude,
that's why I say it's never been done before. I'm just saying the level of success that happened from one small yard is just unheard of.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, I have a different window of it, right? Of the whole time that we're doing recovery on the yard and the people that I met in prison and, the contrast of the group of men that came out of North Unit that I'm all friends with too, through you, right? And the group of men that came through with me that in one form or another, I talked to Big Book to them or sponsored them, or they were in a meeting that we put together on one of the yards we were on. I mean, we counted yesterday. There's 17 of them that are dead.
Yeah.
Like reality. Since we've been out in 5 years, 17 people that I was in prison with are dead. Probably another 10 are back in prison. And these are just the ones I know of. We heard a statistic with that, who was it that told us?
It was a DEA.
No, not that one. Christine, whatever her name was when we were over at Nexus and we were Russell, but every month 25 men and women die of an overdose in the Department of Corrections that are on parole.
That are on paper.
So what they have is they have
crazy.
this log jam of all these absconding warrants.
Yep.
That they have these absconding warrants for these men and women. Christina Russell.
Yeah, Christina Russell.
There you go.
Good. No, that there was these log jam of men and women that they think are absconding, but they're not absconding, they're dead.
Oh my God.
And they can't figure it out.
So crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Insane.
Yeah.
And thank God we all found recovery, dude. But it took us a while to get there, dude.
Yeah,
so I mean, you have so many amazing things going on, dude, that we could leave the whole how we got here part out. But it's also important to touch on it for, a piece of it,
Correct.
dude. Every single one of us sitting here, when we look back at our childhood, we love our families. We think our families did the best they could, and we had great childhoods, dude. We all know that we made decisions in our lives that had drastic consequences and drastic changes that now came, dude. And so you grew up in Maui. That's where the nickname comes from.
Yeah.
Born in Hawaii, grew up in Maui. Great childhood. But just think about this for all the listeners. 1990 happened. You're 19 years old. You got a passion. You got a voice. You can sing. You can play instruments. And you get signed from Hawaii to LA. And you fly out to LA. Had you ever been to LA before?
No.
So pick it up there.
Okay. So I had a friend of mine I grew up with. His name's Randall. This white boy I grew up with, right? He looked like Sebastian Bach. Girls loved him. That's why I hung out with him because, obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So we started writing songs as kids, and we go to LA because my girlfriend at the time's uncle was Irving Azoff. If you know who Irving Azoff is, he owns Ticketmaster right now.
Okay. All right.
So he's the owner of Ticketmaster.
Documentary on it.
Yeah. So he was the chairman of the board of MCA for 30 years, and that was my girlfriend's uncle. So he made it hard on us. So he didn't give us anything. We had to write the songs, and we submitted it. And he's like, "All right, we'll sign you guys to a single." So we flew to LA, recorded the single, and decided to stay. So we ended up getting my first band, Liquid Poets, because we drank a lot. And Randall was actually a really good songwriter, lyric-wise, so that's why we called it that. So long story short, we get to LA, we record the single. We actually Didn't record anything else for a while, but we recorded this single. It hit the shelves. They didn't put any money into it, but they kept us on the label. They gave us a little bit of money up front, so we got an apartment on La Cienega, and we started partying with because it was right at grunge was starting to come out, right? It was coming from Seattle down to LA.
Yeah.
So we had saw Nirvana at the Whiskey. I mean, nobody was there when we saw Nirvana. We saw Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains. I mean, nobody there. It was just coming up. But here was the thing. All the record labels were dumping all the old 80s hair bands. So they were all at the Rainbow. So we used to hang out at the Rainbow. This comes into play in my addiction. So I was hanging out with Tommy Lee. I was hanging out with the guy from Poison, CeCe DeVille. We were hanging out with Megadeth. We were hanging out with guys from Tool, one of the guys from Tool. They were all at the Rainbow. They'd all hang out down there. Some were drug addicts, some weren't. You guys know if you've seen the history who was and who wasn't. So we had this apartment, and we used to have all these guys from the 80s rock bands come over, and we'd do cocaine and having a lot of fun. Some meth would hit now and again. Back biker dope would hit. And I really liked that back in the day. And we'd have a lot of fun, a lot of girls, a lot of parties, a lot of sex, the whole thing. So one day I'd been up on, I think it was crank. I can't remember. It was either cocaine or crank for like 4 or 5 days. And I was getting paranoid, looking through the blinds, thinking cops are coming, like we all do.
I do that.
And that is all the way across the board, by the way. Very weirdo. Those weirdos you would meet, like the one guy that didn't get paranoid, I always get mad at him. Like, get out of here if you're not gonna get paranoid with me. So this guy, this old Chicano guy, lived downstairs. I knew he was a junkie, but he'd come up with some pretty good crack now and again.
Yeah.
And he come up one night and he's like, we're peeking through the window. He's like, hey man, I came up here to party and you guys are all twacked out. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm seeing cops. I'm seeing everything. I'm hallucinating. He goes, sit your ass down right now. And he pulled me a cotton out with a rinse and he shot me up for the first time with heroin. And I remember the experience vividly. I immediately wasn't paranoid. And that to me was like the reason I wanted to do it, because I liked cocaine and meth, but I didn't like to get paranoid. I hated it, bro. It was like, because you're terrified, dude. You're like, something's gonna happen. You know what I mean? But you know it's fake
all time.
You know it's fake, but it's not.
It's not fake to you.
Yeah, it's not. But you know it's fake, but you can't get out of it. So that got me out of it, and that started my love affair with the heroin. And after that, I got strung out for about a year, and we had to move from Los Angeles. We lost the record deal because of all the drug use. And we moved to Phoenix. My dad had moved to Phoenix, my real dad, and he was a drug addict, alcoholic. And I came to Phoenix, and he lived over on 31st Avenue in Peoria in the Cochise, off of Cochise. He had a condo, bro. Back in the day, it was nice.
Yeah, I know exactly where it's at.
It was nice back then. So I get there, and he's like, hey, boy. He used to call me boy. He's like, boy, you need to get off all this stuff and just chill out and drink. You know what I mean?
Just
with
drink,
me.
dude, yeah.
So we'd smoke weed and drink. He got me playing tennis with him. He was like an awesome tennis player. So I got into shape, and, you know, I met a couple people, and we moved out into our own apartments, and then the meth started, you know. That's how it all started in Phoenix. So about a year of just drinking and smoking weed, and you know where eventually, if you're an addict, it leads to everything else. So over time, it went. I had the meth bottom. That was the first bottom I ever experienced. And then I had the crack bottom. And then I had the heroin bottom, which was the last. So I experienced alcohol, crack, meth, heroin, all separately or together, bottoms. 5-year periods each. Was crazy.
At some point in time or another, you were physically dependent on individually each of those.
Correct.
And had to detox solomentary.
And tried to get sober for 19 years while this was all going on, in and out of AA. People tried to help me. I was going to 27th Avenue in Northern. Used to be a You Can Too there. Yeah. Then it moved over to Glendale and 27th. Then it moved to 31st. All those years it moved, I'd always go there when I hit bottom. And somebody would help me out. Somebody would, hey, man, I know this halfway house that'll take you with no money. Because I'd always come in broke, dirty, cracked out hands, blisters from hiding the lighter, track marks on my neck, arms, legs, everything, hands. And someone would have compassion like I had for you, right?
Yeah.
So I went through all this, man, probably more than I needed to, but I just couldn't beat it, man. I just couldn't beat the addiction. I couldn't until I went to Mojave.
Yeah, and so what comes with addiction is the consequences. And so the consequences, just like all of us, piled up pretty quickly. Usually the first round of consequences, we don't listen very well, right? And so usually it's a extensive prison sentence that catches your attention. I know it was an 8 for me, a 7 and a 10, and you know, certain things. But this second sentence became a gift, right? And it became the biggest blessing you've ever had, and your launching pad to finding God in this new life, right?
Correct.
And so can you pick it up from catching that 10-year prison sentence? Because you didn't just catch the 10-year sentence, say I'm done, and that's not your sobriety date.
Yeah.
So if you can pick it up, from there, and then that shift that ultimately happens.
Yeah. So, as all addicts, I was a heroin addict at the end because that's what you eventually get to. Yeah. Especially people that are ADHD, by the way. We really like that because it makes us hyper. It doesn't bring us down. It makes us more hyper and energetic.
It's the abnormal effect.
Yeah, it's the abnormal effect produced by drugs and alcohol. So I get this heroin habit with my ex, and we're doing like, I don't know, a gram or two a day each, brown tar and smoking crack on top of it. And I catch a bunch of charges here. We're doing a bunch of shenanigans. I'm stealing wire from the supply house. We're making fake credit cards, the whole thing. And let me go to this real quick. So I remember coming home one day. I had this Lexus. It was an older one, but it was nice. I got it from my dad. Yeah. And there was a card in the windshield wiper. It was a detective. Oh. And I was like, well, time to go. So I scooted to Maui. And I thought if I just get to Maui and I can just get a couple months, I can come back here sober and take care of it. Because right now I'm strung out and I don't want to kick in jail. Nobody wants to kick in jail. But that didn't happen. I went to Maui, found China White, and found crack on a small ass island. Was able to find like the best from the Hawaiian Syndicate, the best. And I'm super strung out now. And I'm driving this old Ford pickup that I bought off a friend of mine, and it ran all the time, except for the day I got arrested. I get in it, I go down this hill, and I'm in Kihei, Maui, and it literally dies as I'm turning left in front of a police officer. And then I pull over. I'm like, okay, no, don't trip. I'm on heroin. So I'm like, don't trip. You're fine. I'm trying to work on it and stuff. I get it back started, and the cop goes, whoop, and he's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, my truck broke down. He goes, well, let me help you push it off the road. I'm like, I'm getting off. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he goes, hey, let me see that ID though before I go. And I had a fake ID from my heroin dealer in Phoenix that was an Arizona ID, and the guy looked like me when I was healthy, but I wasn't healthy, so it didn't look like me. And the cop's like, I retired from the LA County Sheriff's Office. I worked there for 30 years. You don't look like this ID, bud. Yeah. So I'm going to detain you until we figure you out, or are you going to give me your real name? I'm like, that's me. That's how we do it. Yeah. And so I fight that the whole way. They take me down, fingerprint me, and find an NCIS warrant from Arizona, from Yavapai County, Maricopa County, and the feds. So I had 3 outstanding warrants. I get arrested in Maui, sit there for 60 days. I kicked heroin in there. The Lord had a little bit of grace with me because that's the most strung out I've ever been. And in 4 days, I felt better. So I was really sick for 4 days, having seizures, put me in a padded room. I'll never forget this, with a hole in the middle. I was, doing all my business in the hole.
In the middle of the floor.
With a blanket. Yeah. It was horrible because I kept having seizures from the Xanax.
You've been in Ninja Turtle suit before, huh, Ron? Yeah. I know you have, brother.
Yeah. Dude, the Xannies is what got me. I know. Because I was taking 12 bars a day.
Yeah, it's
so
deadly.
They do all that. I get into the jail. I'm with my cousin. They put me, because it's a small jail. They put me with my cousin, and we're having fun in there. There's a really great story about a guy. I'll tell you after the podcast. But we made this guy like we were the military and he was our private. So because he was annoying, we used to make him stand in the corner. Yeah. But really mean. And I get extradited back to Yavapai County. I go in front of the judge. I was on probation out of there. It was a 2.5-year sentence. They sent me to prison. Right. I had holds and my points were high, so they sent me to Rincon. I'm at Tucson, Rincon. Prison. Yeah, I'd been to a real prison the first time I went down. We skipped it from 92 to 95 at San Juan in Perryville. But this was a little different. So I get there, I hook up. My next door neighbor's Walt, and he's running the whole complex, AB guy. Yeah. And we become friends and play chess. And he's like, well, they're going to come get you. So I'm going to borrow you a bunch of stuff. But when they come get you, I'll just take it back. And when you come back, you can have it. So we became friends. They come and get me. So Maricopa County comes and get me. I spend 10 months in Maricopa County in the same pod, LBJ, 14, same cell, top right. Oh, God, yeah, it was horrible, dude. But it gave me the opportunity. I wasn't all the way sober. Any drugs that came in, me and my buddy Mike Genchi, shout out to Mike. He's sober today and doing well. Dude. And Mikey goes, we're checking everybody's ass that comes in here, every white boy, right? So we were crazy, and everything that came in, we were doing it. Cigarettes, weed, meth, anything.
My cut off the top.
Correct, because he was running the pod.
Ass dope, huh?
Yeah, he was running the pod.
You snorted some ass dope before, Ron. I know you
we
have.
All have.
Yeah.
We all have. Yeah, so that happens. They sentenced me. I'll never forget the day I was sentenced. They gave me that sentence to run concurrent with my Yavapai County sentence, and I remember the night before I did a bunch of meth because I knew I already signed the plea. 6.5 to 18 was my plea. I get in front of the judge. She gives me 10, 85, and 85%. And I'm sitting there, And I remember being in that courtroom thinking about my wife, who was strung out on the street. You know how we think.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's done,
Yeah.
and my heart sank to my stomach because I knew the gig was up, dude.
done, dude.
The jig is up, dude. You're going to prison. So I come back, they send me to prison, then the feds come and get me. I sit there for 6 months. They dropped it because I got such a large sentence at the state. They're like, we're not even going to pursue it. But you got to go through the process, and they're slower. But the feds is a lot nicer than Maricopa County, so it was better. They shipped me off to Rincon. I spent 3 years there getting high, doing dope whenever I can. I had some money with me when I got arrested, and it transferred with me, so I was able to have a nice little drug habit while I was in. And my cellie was bringing it in, so he was getting a half ounce a week, and he was, breaking me off pretty nice. So that happened for a long time. Well, there was a riot once I got reclassed to the 3, so Rincon's a 4, Santa Rita's a 3. 2012, I believe it was June of 2012, they transferred me to the Santa Rita yard, and there's a riot 2 weeks later on yard 3 and 4. Everybody heard about it. Stabbings, people getting beat up. It was real bad. So they ended up saying to me, hey, you're going to go to the hole because you participated. And I don't really think I did. I think I might have hit a few people, but it wasn't stabbings or anything. Yeah, we have to.
Yeah,
you have to do it.
It's part of it. Yeah.
So they sent me to the hole. I sat in there for 30 days. That was sucky.
2A investigation.
2A investigation. Yeah, they found a rig in our house, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we ended up going to 33 of us ended up going to Mojave. And when I get to Mojave, I'm playing around for a little bit. I get a job at maintenance, best job because I'm an electrician, and the guy I'm working with bringing dope on the yard. So I'm messing around, not as much, but once a week, every 2 weeks, because I don't have the money then. It's all gone. You know what I mean? So I'd have to trade maintenance favors. So I do that, and then one day a black guy comes up to me in the pod, and he's like, hey, man, hey, Maui, I got some crack. I'm like, I want it.
Yeah.
And what am I going to smoke with? Oh, I work in maintenance.
Yeah.
So I ended up smoking out of a copper pipe, which probably wasn't good for my lungs, with headphone wire that I'd stripped and burnt because we had a lighter. Yep. You got a crack story from prison?
Oh, crack.
That's his drug of choice from New York.
25 years, man.
Oh, yeah, it'll beat you up.
Meth cured his crack addiction, though, real fast.
Yeah, that does a lot of people like that. So I smoked the crack. The next day I get some heroin. I'm like walking the yard. If you've ever been to Mojave, it's a huge yard. I was on the south yard, and I'm walking this huge track, and I'm just bummed out. I'm thinking to myself, I have 6 more years to go, and I am still fucking up.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? That conversation we've all had with ourselves.
That's what I had in the hole. I'm like, I got 3 years left. I have not a single fucking friend in the world, dude. And I'm not even halfway there yet, dude. How am I gonna?
Why?
What?
Yeah. Like, what am I doing to myself?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to come out of here. I made a deal with myself when I came in. I'm going to get sober and do better. And I remembered that like oath that I made with myself. And I said, and I'm walking the track and I'm processing everything I've been doing and what's going to look like when I get out. If I don't start now, I'm not going to be able to do it. I knew that inherently. So I'm walking by I'm walking on that track, and I walk by this building I'd never been in before. Evidently, it was the chapel. And if you're a drug addict, you've never been in there.
Yeah, never seen that.
Yeah, I'd never seen that. So I hear this live music. I know it is because I can hear drums and bass. And I'm like, what is that? And it's dummy locked, and I don't pay attention to laws and rules in prison. So I take the lock out, throw it on the ground, walk inside the double gates, and go in there. And there's a bunch of inmates. And from what I know, after that is they're all lifers, by the way, all praising the Lord. All just weeping and getting it, bro. And the music was amazing, and the singers were amazing. And I'm like, fell to my knees, dude, and I started crying. And right then and there, they all came over me, and they put their hands on me and started praying in tongues. And I was like, what is happening right now? But something lifted off me. It just lifted, bro. And they said, and after it lifted, I felt so good.
Burning bush, my brother.
Correct. And after I stood up and I was like wiping the tears from my face in prison in front of men, crying is not something you do, but I did it. And I said, I wanted to play. I play everything, like drums, bass, guitar, sing. I want to get involved. And like, son, you need to be discipled first. You know what I mean? So I ended up signing up for everything you had to sign up for, on 3 Yard. Signed up for every Bible study, every church service. And then I found out they had AA 5 nights a week, and I signed up for that. And that's where my journey started. Once I had that experience where everything lifted off me, it was just like Bill sitting in the hospital bed. It left. That was February. That was a year before February. So that would have to have been like March of 2013. Everything lifted off me. So I get through the 3 Yard. My points drop because all the warrants and all that are done. And I end up getting shipped to Papago. And I get a Papago, which is a 2 Yard in an old Motel 6. It's not around anymore. Yeah. And I get a job working outside the gate. I'm sober. I'm going to meetings there. And I get to this hospital. It's a $3 an hour job, which is rare in prison. I'm an electrician, so of course I'm the electrician there. And I'm in the, I'm changing a light, and I'm up in the ceiling
like
doing
a helicopter too.
Yeah, and the helicopter pilots, because they had a helicopter flying, evacing people in there, because it's the only hospital down there.
Yeah.
And I look down, and there's bottles in the trash. Me being a drug addict, me being like new in my first year, I pick it up, and I'm like, fentanyl. And it was full. And I knew where the syringes were, because that's drug addicts pay attention when we're working through the hospital. I grabbed the bottle, put the light. I even put the light in too. It's like, 'cause then they don't have nothing to say. I put the light in, put the fentanyl in my pocket, and I go to the rigs. I grab them. I go in the bathroom. I grab wire off my cart. I tie my arm off, and I shoot half the bottle the first time. Okay, go back to the yard. I'm high. I go back to the yard. My cellie, Danny Morales, who's sober still today, looks at me and goes, "You're high."
Yeah.
I said, "I am."
Yeah, dog.
And I got my newcomer chip. So I'll tell you the funny thing about that, right? So that shot that I did of fentanyl, I got high, but as soon as I got back, it was like I was instantly convicted. Instantly was like, I do not want to do this anymore. And I knew for sure I didn't. I knew for sure I didn't. And I never did it again. And that was February 22nd, 2014.
Yeah.
So that was the best thing that ever happened to me, was that relapse where I went, I don't ever want to do this again.
Yeah.
Like I was convinced 100%.
Yeah, dude. And then you ended up getting moved to North Unit, and then that's where we meet, dude.
Yeah.
And your time at North Unit, dude, I mean, you were the electrician, not only that, teaching everyone electrician and HVAC work and having bands and concerts, and you were in how many bands? 3-4 different bands?
Yeah, something like that.
You had a solo show, dude. We were fortunate at North Unit because we were doing the right thing, dude. We had a community that was in recovery, and we had extra privileges, dude. And I watched you sponsor a ton of men, dude, nonstop, dude. And I watched you do all those things. Yeah. And so you got out in 2018. That was the beginning of really my recovery.
Yeah.
I had just like started to really find the juice, dude, and went, ran with it, of course, from there. But you got out in 2018 with a whole bunch of goals that you wanted to achieve, man.
Yeah.
And starting your own electrical company, dude, you did immediately, dude. And you employed all your sponsees, and you gave all
my
the
friends,
all your friends, and all the guys that you either trained how to do it while incarcerated, dude. You gave them an opportunity to provide for their family and do it in an environment around a bunch of individuals who are sober, dude.
Yeah.
And now watching Josh and Adam
and Rabbit
and Rabbit too. There's 3 of them, dude.
Yeah, Rabbit.
3 of them have now started their own electrical companies off coming to you, never doing it before, seeing how you operate and lead a team, the back end that you've shared with them, obviously, to them to understand how to do it. And now the blessing for them to go out and do it and still remain friends through it all shows your true character, dude.
Yeah, we still talk. I just texted Adam the other day. I called Josh last week. They watched me, but they're all really smart guys. Yes, Rabbit, you're smart too. Mm-hmm. I admitted it publicly. No, he's really smart. So all these guys, they learn the trade, and then they've all done their own business part of it. I've made a ton of mistakes in business, man.
Yeah, we all have.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of mistakes to make in business, but I'm so proud of those guys for actually staying sober, number one, and Josh had a couple of things that happened to him, but he picked it right back up.
Yeah.
And those are all we text each other jokes every day. Every other day I send them crazy videos, and we talk, and they call me about stuff. I call Adam a lot with questions on business because he's really a good businessman, and I'm humble enough to say, I don't know that. Yeah. Can you help me? Like, I'm using his accountant now. I had a problem with my accountant, and we're just all helping one another, and they're all humble enough to help me and not say, I'm not helping that dude. He can learn it on its own, because that's what a lot of people do when we're in the same industry in the same town. But if I have stuff that they might want to do, I'll send it to them. And I did that for a long time with Josh. I just sent Josh a guy the other day. He needed an employee temporarily, and I hooked him up. Yeah. So that's the beautiful thing about it.
And I know that because they all share that with me. Dude. They share that, and I ask those questions. How does Maui feel about that, dude?
I love it, man.
He supported me.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is so awesome, dude.
Yeah, raise up other leaders.
Yes, dude. And that's what it's all about, And so now fast forward through all these years, dude, and you still do the same fundamentals every single day. Get in touch with God as soon as your feet touch the ground, dude.
Yep.
Try to love as many people as you can throughout the day. Pack as many things as you can pack into the stream of life, dude. Be selfless more than you've been selfish, dude. And you do these things without even having to try because you've been doing it so long. It's who you are, dude.
Yep.
And so now as we start to look to, we could do 17 different podcasts, dude. I definitely want to come on. I want to have you come on again, and I want to talk specifically about the ministry component of it and how we can support and be a part of, dude. I really would like to talk more about that. But I want to take the last portion of the show, dude. I want you to there's so many different facets to you and what you do and what God's given you the ability to do. Like, what's new in each one? What's the next Rando Commando podcast? Tell me your number one song on the new album that drops tomorrow. When's the next, it's Thursday nights, dude, but can you shoot me a message, dude? We bring the squad, dude. Like, can you talk to me about that? And ultimately they'll close with family, bro, and Carrie, and just kind of wrap up everything and what all the listeners around the world can just kind of, know what to look out for, dude.
Yeah, so just number one, man, I'm really excited about the record. The last record was Fab and Walt. Walt is back in prison, and Fab's doing amazing work with his nonprofit, so they weren't available. And I had to suck it up and write some good songs, and that's what I feel. This is my best effort to date. At 54 years old, this is my best effort musically. This is 40 years.
You did it all too, though, right?
I did.
We're talking about every aspect
except for the drums on some songs. Some of the songs I did do them. But I brought Dan Johnson in to do the drums because he's a professional and he's quick and studio costs money. So there's a song on there. They're all about Jesus. Every single one of them is about Jesus. There's one song that I sent you guys called Awake that's about conspiracies, right? Yeah. So, but really what I wanted to do was have people that listen to this kind of music secularly, that's hard to say, that would want to find Jesus through the music. There's a song called Pouring Out, and it's talking about the Spirit, how it always gives, how it always has what you need, and it pours out and it doesn't stop pouring out. And that's true. It's been true in my life. When I search for the Spirit, it's never like you can't have any more. You can always have more of the Spirit. And when you get more of the Spirit of God in you, the more your life straightens out, the clearer your thoughts are, the more compassion and love you can give to everybody else. So that's what I wanted to encompass in the album. I'm very excited about it. There's going to be CDs and albums and vinyl and all that. So it comes out tomorrow. I didn't post much on deepasbones.com. What I've really been doing is focusing on the Facebook aspect because we have a lot of fans there. So Deep as Bones on Facebook. I put links in the descriptions and everything on TikTok. So Rando Commando is on TikTok. The next podcast for Rando is going to be, I interviewed a pilot who worked for an airline for 30 years and he was in the Air Force. And he is telling me for sure that it is flat. So I want to hear what he has to say because I need evidence to make a claim. And everybody knows that my podcast, I pretty much think it is. The Bible says it is. We live in a firmament. I've read other things, seen maps from the 1500s that, they say they were too dumb back then. I think they were way smarter back then than we are today. And I believe that those flat earth maps are correct. So there's lands beyond. We're going to talk about those too. I just bought a new map that shows the lands beyond the ice wall. So
you have to check out his podcast.
Yeah.
He talks about all the stuff we talk, ask questions to each other about, dude.
Yeah. And I just know that everybody has a hunger for knowledge, including myself. So that's why I did the podcast. So the next one, I'm actually shooting it tomorrow. It's a Rando Rant number 8. It's about
Rant, dude,
that's what it's called, Rando Rant. So I have 4 topics I'm going to rant on. One of them is going to be Erica Kirk and what I don't listen to Candace. I don't listen to anybody. I just piece together the things and do my own research. We're going to talk a smidge about the Epstein files, but not what everybody thinks. So tune in. It's going to be a different little angle on that. And the other 2, you're just going to have to watch to find out. It's going to be very controversial. I'm going to get a lot of haters. I get haters all the time. People want to murder my family over some in these comments. It's like, wow. You know what I mean? You really see the evil in humanity through comments. So Joe Rogan always says post and ghost. And I don't read them no more because they're bad. So I don't pay attention to that. I just keep doing it. The ministry, man, is really awesome. If you want to get involved, you can go to Identifreed. That's Identifreed, IDENTIFREED. So identified by adoption, freed by grace. That's what it means. So .org, we're a nonprofit. We're a true nonprofit. We both have jobs. We don't make any money from it, and it's always a struggle. So, but we trust in the Lord, and every month our $20,000 or $30,000 it costs to run gets handled. And that's not by us. We tithe to the ministry, but it really is the community that supports it. So you can come out on Thursday nights, but you do have to go through deliverance. You do have to have worked your steps. And if you're not an alcoholic, we recommend deliverance because we've seen people manifest on the streets while they're out there. We've talked about that earlier. And you know, the biggest thing with the ministry is if you have a heart for Jesus and you have compassion, you want to help these girls, and you've maybe experienced this before and you're in recovery, those are the kind of girls that we're looking for to help, because you relate with the girls out there. If you're a guy and you're a drug addict and you've been on the streets and you've been through your steps and you want to go through deliverance, hit us up. You can come into our ministry. It's on 32nd Street and Thunderbird, right next to Studio 164.
Yeah,
All our
there's
recovery people
164,
know
yeah.
we're right next door. We have the House of Prayer, the thrift store, the salon, and then the shoebox ministries we just took over. We've expanded to Prescott.
Awesome.
So great
awesome,
story,
dude.
real quick. I'm trying to go fast. So Kyler Murray from the Arizona Cardinals' mother contacted my wife. We were praying over a Prescott location. The Lord showed us a place right on the square, 201 Montezuma, or 102, one of the two. It's
Yeah.
right on the corner. It's the old Keller Williams building. And we were praying over that. We were up there leading worship for a ministry up there, and my wife goes, we're getting this space. She goes, I'm going to lay out the fleece and see what happens. So she lays the fleece out. Kyler Murray gave it $18,000.
Wow.
So
dude.
the quarterback of the Cardinals gave us money for this ministry.
That's so awesome,
Yep.
dude.
So now we're looking at Jerome.
Yeah.
So my
dude.
wife's like, everybody's like, well, why would you want to start a ministry with 450 people live in Jerome? Because there's witchcraft, demonic activity. It's known for that.
100%.
Yeah, there's a lot of new age teachings which
Need
are
light in the
demonic.
dark, dude.
Yep. Everybody is going to be mad about that. So new age teachings and yoga are demonic. I can prove it. I can show you. I won't do it here. That's a whole nother podcast. But
show
if you're
another
doing
time.
it, you should stop it right now.
Yeah.
You know, the Kundalini spirit's a real thing. There's spirits that can come in recovery, sober, and they can affect your mind, dude. That is, Jesus talked about it. There's these spirits that can't get out. You have to have prayer and fasting. So if you're involved in that stuff, you need to get out of it. If you believe in Jesus, you need to get out of it. And that's my preaching for the day. Stay out of that stuff. Get into the Word of God, and it'll show you exactly what you need to know about these spirits and what's in it. You have people interceding over your life right now. For me, right now, I'm interceding over your life that you would get out of those practices and really start following Jesus with all your heart. You know, and that's what the ministry is really about, bro, is getting people free. You know what I mean? Freeing people from their demonic possession, freeing them from, and everybody's like, what do you mean I'm demonically possessed? I was in Christianity. I've been delivered. I've gone through deliverance. I was choked out, puked, couldn't talk for a day because the whatever was in me choked me out. It felt like two people were squeezing my neck. I didn't believe in this. And after that, I know that it's real. It freaked me out, dude.
You had an experience.
Hadn't
Can't deny it. Yeah.
Correct. And it was awesome. So, you know, my wife and I do this. I'm going to dovetail this into the end. Me and my wife do this together. That's her ministry, but I'm there to help in any way I can. But our family is more grounded because of this deliverance. We almost called it quits a couple years ago. I mean, everybody in recovery relates with this. It's married. They don't have Christ in their life, and they're getting divorced because they're just working these steps, and they work them for a while and they stop working them in their marriage, right? So Christ and God, all that's in the steps, man, if you follow them to a T. But then after that, there's something else in recovery, because before we've opened ourselves up to the spirit of pharmakia, the drug spirit. It's still there, dude. That's why you still wanted it 10 years. That's why you still struggle at 10 years, is because you still have these things inside of you. And this is not my opinion. This is what I've known and believed to be true, that we need deliverance in recovery. So that's what we do today. So when we're out in the streets, we do deliverance. We get it ourselves. When we have problems in our marriage, we don't go to see a counselor. We did that. It didn't work. Went to deliverance, and it solved our problems. We get along today, bro. Our family is healthy today. Well, we go to a meeting on Friday nights. It's AA, Al-Anon, and Alateen. My wife started going to Al-Anon. We get along better, thanks. Yeah, it was all her, right? So we go to these meetings together as a family, and it makes our family stronger. You know what I mean? And we get attacked, man. We have a ministry. We're on front lines.
Yeah, dude.
Enemy is pissed at what we're doing, bro.
Yeah.
He doesn't want us to do it. So we have to stay up on that.
Yep.
And it's a constant battle.
It is, dude. And every single day, dude, I'm watching you, dude, fight that battle, shine light in the dark, dude. And dude, to have this moment with you today, dude, I mean, we could have went for a few hours
Easily.
Just with everything, all the different things that you do. But we're talking someone that's been out of prison 6 years now, 7 years now.
7.
And ministries, to houses, to businesses, to turning out leaders, to healthy relationships, to being a good father, brother, husband, all the things, dude, you've been able to achieve it, and you're still doing the same fundamentals, is why you still get the same success, dude.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this podcast and you're suffering from substance abuse, alcoholism, demonic possession, you're any of the above, dude, and you've been touched by anything that any of us have said today, please reach out. please reach out for help. We don't care about any situation or financial situation. We will help you wholeheartedly with no expectations. Reach out, desertrecoverycenters.com. Reach out to Jason and Sarah, Ronnie No Matter What, Ron Alessi. We have web forms now. We have actual assessments on our website. You can do a mental health evaluation today and figure out if you need the help. Call us and we will help you. But Maui, dude, I love you, bro.
Love you
It's
too,
just
bro.
been phenomenal, dude, just to share this moment with you. I know we didn't let Ron talk today. That's fine. Because I've been waiting for this moment with you, bro. I've been checking on it just because it's a full circle moment for me, dude. You know, to get me to my first meeting, to fast forward now 8 years later, dude, and to be here sober with you.
It's crazy.
Successful is the juice, dude.
It's
So
crazy.
thank you for filling up my heart today, man. And I love you. And
Love you too, bro.
tune in, new episodes dropping every single week. Shout out to Matt, Desert Recovery Centers in the studio. New episodes dropping weekly.